Beloved soul, take a slow breath and calm your heart before you continue, because this message is not here to pressure you, frighten you, or rush you. It is here to awaken you gently. Archangel Michael says, I have not been waiting in anger, I have been waiting in patience, watching you move through confusion, distraction, and doubt, hoping you would pause long enough to hear what has been quietly unfolding around you. The truth is not something meant to embarrass you, it is something meant to free you. You have been so busy managing responsibilities, overthinking conversations, replaying old memories, and trying to keep everything together that you have overlooked the deeper shift happening in your own spirit. This is not about lost hours, it is about lost awareness. And awareness can return the moment you decide to be present. Everyone does not know the truth in the way you fear. The truth is not gossip. It is not exposure. It is not judgment. The truth is about your value, your strength, and the silent growth you have gone through while believing nothing was changing. Others may have noticed your resilience before you did. Others may have sensed your potential before you believed it fully. You have underestimated the quiet power of your endurance. You have survived seasons that could have hardened you, yet you remained compassionate. You have faced uncertainty that could have made you bitter, yet you remained hopeful. That is the truth you have been slow to recognize. The urgency you feel is not about punishment. It is about alignment. Time feels wasted only when you are disconnected from your direction. You have not ruined anything. You have not missed your destiny. But you have delayed trusting yourself. You have postponed decisions because you feared making the wrong move. You have hesitated because you were waiting for perfect clarity. Archangel Michael is not angry with you. He is encouraging you. He is reminding you that clarity grows through action, not endless analysis. The longer you wait to trust your inner guidance, the heavier your doubts become. The moment you step forward with calm confidence, that heaviness dissolves. There is also a truth about someone around you. Not a dramatic secret, not a hidden betrayal, but a subtle realization. Someone sees you more clearly than you think. Someone respects your strength more than you recognize. You have been questioning your impact, wondering whether your presence truly matters. It does. Your influence is not loud, but it is steady. Your kindness has been remembered. Your advice has been valued. Your consistency has been noticed. The truth you feared might be negative is actually affirming. You are more appreciated than you realize. What has truly delayed you is self-doubt. You have been overly critical of your own pace. You compare your progress to others and assume you are behind. But your journey is not measured by someone else's timeline. Growth is not a race. Alignment is not a competition. You were learning lessons that required patience. You were building strength quietly. You were preparing for a chapter that demands maturity rather than speed. Nothing was wasted. It was preparation. Archangel Michael says, do not treat your own awakening as a joke. Do not dismiss your intuition as imagination. Do not ignore the inner nudge that tells you it is time to step into something bigger. The shift you are feeling is real. The urge to change habits, strengthen boundaries, or pursue a new direction is not random. It is guidance. You have spent enough time waiting for external confirmation. Now it is time to trust internal conviction. The truth that surprises you most may be this: you were never behind, never forgotten, never overlooked by the divine. You were protected from rushing into situations that were not aligned. You were slowed down so you could build stability. You were held back from certain outcomes because something better required readiness. What felt like delay was refinement. So where have you been? You have been growing quietly. You have been learning. You have been healing. And now you are ready to move with greater awareness. Do not rush out of fear. Move with calm certainty. Do not respond to this message with anxiety. Respond with intention. The moment you choose clarity over hesitation, you step into alignment. Beloved soul, listen carefully and let your heart settle, because what feels urgent is not meant to pressure you but to awaken you to something you have been overlooking for far too long. Archangel Michael says the waiting was never about impatience, it was about timing, because there comes a moment when a person is finally ready to hear what has always been true about them. You have been searching outside yourself for answers, validation, reassurance, and direction, while the deeper truth has been quietly growing within you. The reason it feels like time has been wasted is not because you failed, but because you delayed trusting your own spiritual maturity. You kept thinking you needed more proof, more signs, more confirmation, yet the real confirmation was already forming in your own thoughts, in your quiet realizations, in the way you have started seeing situations differently than before. There is a shift in perception happening within you. The same circumstances that once confused you are beginning to make sense. The same people who once influenced your emotions so strongly no longer hold that power. You may not have announced this growth, but it is visible in your reactions. You pause more. You reflect more. You respond more calmly. That is transformation. You believed you were stuck, but in truth you were stabilizing. You thought you were behind, but in reality you were strengthening foundations that will support your next chapter. Archangel Michael says the truth. Everyone knows is not about a hidden secret, it is about your potential. Others may see your capacity before you fully accept it. Others may recognize your leadership, your resilience, your emotional intelligence, while you still question whether you are enough. The urgency in this message is about direction. You are at a point where hesitation is no longer serving you. You have gathered enough experience. You have processed enough lessons. You have endured enough confusion. Now you must choose clarity. There is a decision you have been postponing. It may involve your career, a relationship, a personal boundary, or a dream you quietly put aside. You keep telling yourself later, but later has turned into delay. Delay has turned into doubt. And doubt has slowed your momentum. Archangel Michael is not angry, he is encouraging you to stop underestimating your readiness. You are more prepared than you think. You may also feel that certain truths about your environment are becoming impossible to ignore. You are seeing patterns you once excused. You are recognizing dynamics that do not align with your growth. You are sensing that some conversations feel repetitive because the connection itself has stopped evolving. This realization is not meant to isolate you, it is meant to redirect you. Growth requires adjustment. When you elevate, your surroundings must shift. Some will grow with you. Some will quietly step aside. That is not loss, that is alignment refining itself. There is also something important about your self-perception. You have carried guilt for taking time to figure things out. You have criticized yourself for not moving faster. You have replayed moments where you think you should have acted differently. Archangel Michael says release that burden. Regret keeps you anchored to versions of yourself that no longer exist. You are wiser now. You are calmer now. You are more discerning now. The past served its purpose by teaching you. It does not need to control you. The deeper truth is this: you are being positioned for responsibility that requires confidence. Confidence cannot grow in constant hesitation. It grows when you decide to move despite uncertainty. You have been waiting for a perfect sign, but the sign is your own restlessness. That quiet feeling that you are meant for something more is not imagination. It is awareness. The frustration you feel with stagnation is not negativity. It is growth knocking at your door. Beloved, do not treat your intuition lightly. When you feel drawn toward change, explore it. When you feel guided to step back from something draining, honor it. When you sense opportunity forming, prepare for it. This is not about rushing blindly, it is about moving intentionally. You have already spent enough time observing. Now you must participate in your own evolution. The waiting period is ending because readiness has arrived. You are not the same person you were months ago. You are more stable emotionally. You are more aware of your boundaries. You are more selective about where you invest your energy. That maturity is the proof you were seeking. Trust it. Act from it. Stand within it. Stay calm. Stay focused. Stay grounded in the knowledge that nothing was truly wasted. It was preparation. And now preparation turns into action. Beloved soul, continue listening with an open heart because now you are entering the deeper layer of understanding, the part where urgency transforms into clarity and pressure dissolves into purpose. Archangel Michael says the reason this message feels intense is not because something terrible is about to happen, but because something powerful is about to awaken inside you. You have spent so much time waiting for external validation that you forgot how capable you are of leading your own life. The truth that everyone seems to know, except you, is simple yet profound. You are stronger than you allow yourself to believe, and the delays you experienced were not failures but preparation for a more aligned direction. You have been standing at a crossroads for longer than you admit. One path feels familiar but limiting, the other feels uncertain but expansive. Familiarity can be comforting even when it restricts growth. You stayed in certain cycles because they were predictable. You tolerated situations because they felt safe enough. But safety is not the same as fulfillment. There is a quiet dissatisfaction within you that you keep dismissing. You tell yourself to be grateful, to settle, to wait for a better moment. Yet the better moment has been waiting for your decision. Archangel Michael is not urging you out of impatience but out of awareness. You have outgrown certain patterns, and staying too long in what you have outgrown creates internal tension. There is also a truth about your influence. You underestimate how much your presence affects others. You believe you are unnoticed, yet your words linger in people's minds. Your advice has shaped decisions. Your resilience has inspired quiet admiration. You do not see it because you focus on what you lack instead of what you contribute. This limited self-view has delayed your confidence. You have been shrinking yourself to avoid appearing too bold, too ambitious, or too different. But your uniqueness is not a flaw. It is your advantage. The truth you have avoided is that you are capable of leading in spaces where you once felt like an outsider. The wasted time you fear is actually experience collected. Every hesitation taught you discernment. Every disappointment strengthened your boundaries. Every period of waiting built patience. Nothing was meaningless. However, remaining in reflection too long can turn wisdom into stagnation. You now have enough insight to act differently. The next step requires courage, not more contemplation. Courage does not mean reckless action, it means trusting your growth enough to move forward even without complete certainty. There is a relationship dynamic that has been weighing on your thoughts. You may have been hoping for clarity from someone else, waiting for them to change, to explain, to validate. But clarity rarely comes from external promises. It comes from internal standards. You already know what you deserve. You already know which behaviors feel respectful and which feel draining. The reason you have delayed is because change can disrupt comfort. Yet disruption can also create freedom. Archangel Michael says it is time to honor your own emotional boundaries without guilt. You are also being prepared for opportunity. There is something forming in your near future that requires readiness. It may be professional growth, a new connection, or a personal breakthrough. This opportunity will not align with a hesitant mindset. It will require confidence and decisiveness. The reason this message feels urgent is because preparation time is ending. Not in fear, but in readiness. You are being asked to step into your own authority. Beloved, stop questioning whether you are enough. Stop replaying past delays as proof of weakness. Stop assuming you are behind others. Your journey is uniquely paced for your development. What matters now is not how long you waited, but what you choose to do next. Choose clarity. Choose movement. Choose to trust the strength you have quietly built. Remain steady. Remain thoughtful. But do not remain stuck. The moment you decide to trust yourself fully, the path that once seemed unclear will begin to unfold naturally. And you will realize that the waiting was never about losing time, it was about becoming ready, beloved soul, now. You are reaching the moment where everything connects, where the waiting, the confusion, the hesitation, and even the frustration begin to make sense in a clearer and calmer way. Archangel Michael says this is not about fear, not about punishment, not about anger, but about awakening you to your own readiness. You have spent so long doubting whether you were prepared for change that you did not realize change has already been happening within you. The shift is internal before it becomes external. The clarity you have been searching for outside has been forming quietly inside your thoughts, inside your reactions, inside your new level of awareness. You are not the same person who started this journey months ago. You are more observant. You are more self-controlled. You are more aware of what drains you and what strengthens you. That awareness is proof of growth. The reason this message feels urgent is because you are standing at the edge of a new chapter, and hesitation can no longer be your comfort zone. You have analyzed enough. You have replayed enough scenarios in your mind. You have waited for perfect timing, perfect confirmation, perfect reassurance. But perfection was never required. Readiness was. And readiness is present now. The truth that surprises you is that you were capable long before you felt confident. Confidence does not arrive before action, it grows after you take the step. You believed you needed certainty first, but certainty often follows commitment. There is also a truth about how you see yourself. You tend to focus on your mistakes more than your progress. You measure your delays but ignore your resilience. You remember the moments you hesitated but forget the moments you persevered. Archangel Michael says shift your focus. See yourself clearly. You navigated challenges without collapsing. You endured uncertainty without giving up. You learned from situations that once confused you. That is strength. That is preparation. That is evidence that you are not behind, you are built. You may soon feel a strong internal push to make a decision you have postponed. It may involve stepping away from something comfortable yet limiting. It may involve stepping toward something new yet intimidating. The fear you feel is not a warning to stop. It is a signal that growth is near. Growth rarely feels comfortable at first. It stretches you. It tests your self-belief. But once you move, you will look back and wonder why you waited so long. The wasted time you fear is not truly wasted if you use it as motivation to act differently now. There is also healing happening in your perception of divine guidance. You once believed that guidance meant obvious signs, dramatic confirmations, or immediate answers. But guidance often comes as quiet conviction. It comes as a repeated thought that refuses to disappear. It comes as a calm knowing beneath your fear. That knowing is present in you now. Do not dismiss it. Do not treat it as imagination. It is alignment speaking gently. Beloved, you are not being rushed to avoid loss. You are being encouraged to avoid stagnation. Stagnation drains your spirit more than risk ever could. You were created to move, to evolve, to expand. When you remain too long in hesitation, you feel restless. That restlessness is not negativity. It is potential waiting for expression. The moment you choose clarity over doubt, movement over delay, trust over fear, you will feel a new stability settle within you. Everything you thought was missing was actually forming. Everything you thought was delayed was actually aligning. You were not forgotten. You were being prepared. And now preparation turns into participation. You are no longer observing your life from a distance, you are stepping into it with intention. Beloved soul, as you continue listening, understand that you are now stepping into the final layer of awareness, the part where realization becomes responsibility and clarity becomes commitment. Archangel Michael says the reason this message has felt intense from the beginning is because you have been living below your own capacity, not out of weakness but out of hesitation. You have been cautious, observant, reflective, and patient, yet patience without movement slowly transforms into delay. The time you believed was wasted was actually building experience, but now experience must turn into action. You are no longer in a season of learning quietly, you are in a season of applying what you have learned. There is something inside you that has been ready for expansion for quite some time. You feel it when you are alone. You sense it when you imagine a different future. You notice it when certain environments feel too small for your evolving mindset. That feeling is not dissatisfaction with life, it is awareness of growth. You have matured emotionally. You have refined your boundaries. You have gained discernment about people and situations. Remaining where you are without change would eventually create frustration because your spirit has outgrown certain limitations. Archangel Michael says do not confuse comfort with alignment. Comfort keeps you stable, alignment moves you forward. You may also be realizing that some truths about yourself have been avoided because they require courage to accept. Perhaps you are more capable than you allowed yourself to admit. Perhaps you are more influential than you recognized. Perhaps you have been waiting for someone else to validate your next move when deep inside you already know the direction you want to take. This is the truth that felt hidden. Not a secret about others, but a revelation about you. The awareness that you have been holding yourself back more than anyone else ever could. This realization is not meant to create guilt, it is meant to create empowerment. Once you see it clearly, you regain control over your next step. There is also a shift happening in how you perceive time. You once believed that delays meant missed opportunities. Now you are beginning to see that timing shapes readiness. If certain opportunities had arrived earlier, you might not have handled them with the maturity you now possess. If certain changes had occurred sooner, you may not have had the emotional strength to sustain them. What felt like delay was alignment adjusting itself to your growth. You were not left behind, you were being equipped. Beloved, do not treat this awakening lightly. Do not dismiss it as temporary motivation. There is a deeper steadiness forming in you. A calm determination rather than dramatic excitement. You are not rushing impulsively, you are preparing intentionally. That difference matters. The next step in your life does not require loud declarations, it requires consistent action. It requires you to trust your decisions without constant reassurance. It requires you to accept that uncertainty is part of expansion. You may soon notice that your conversations change. You speak more directly. You tolerate less confusion. You decline situations that do not align with your standards. That is not arrogance, it is clarity. You will feel less obligated to explain your growth to those who are not ready to understand it. You will feel more comfortable moving quietly toward your goals. This quiet confidence is the true transformation. The urgency that began this message is now turning into stability. You are no longer reacting to the idea of wasted time, you are reclaiming it. Every decision you make from this moment forward carries more awareness. Every boundary you set strengthens your self-respect. Every action you take reinforces your belief in your own capability. Archangel Michael says you have already waited long enough. Not in shame, but in preparation. Now it is time to move with intention. Let this be the point where reflection ends and participation begins. Let this be the moment where doubt loses authority over your choices. Let this be the chapter where you trust the growth you have already achieved. You are not behind. You are not unprepared. You are not forgotten. You are ready, beloved soul. This is the moment where everything settles into understanding, where urgency transforms into responsibility, and where you finally see that nothing about your journey was random. Archangel Michael says you were never being scolded, you were being awakened. The intensity you felt at the beginning of this message was not anger directed at you, it was the echo of your own inner voice asking you to stop delaying your growth. You have spent so much time preparing, analyzing, reflecting, and healing that you forgot preparation must eventually become participation. Now you are standing at the edge of movement, and this time you are not confused, you are aware. You once believed you were late, that you had missed opportunities, that others were far ahead while you were still figuring things out. That belief quietly shaped your confidence. It made you smaller than your potential. It caused you to hesitate when you could have stepped forward. But look closely at who you are now compared to who you were before this season of waiting. You are more emotionally disciplined. You are more selective with your energy. You are more observant of patterns. You do not react as quickly. You think deeper. You feel stronger. That transformation did not happen by accident. It happened because you allowed yourself to grow through discomfort. Nothing was wasted. It was refinement. There is a realization forming inside you that feels calm rather than dramatic. You are no longer desperate for validation. You are no longer seeking constant reassurance. You are beginning to trust your own judgment. This is maturity. And maturity changes everything. It changes how you respond to criticism. It changes how you handle rejection. It changes how you approach opportunity. Instead of fearing outcomes, you begin focusing on alignment. Instead of chasing approval, you begin honoring your standards. This shift is the true breakthrough. Archangel Michael says your next chapter will not require you to prove yourself repeatedly. It will require you to stand confidently in who you already are. The truth that felt hidden at the beginning of this message is now clear: you were the only one doubting your readiness. Others may have seen your strength long ago. Others may have trusted your capability more than you did. But self-trust cannot be borrowed. It must be claimed. And you are finally ready to claim it. You may feel an increase in calm determination over the coming days. Not excitement that fades quickly, but a steady motivation that feels grounded. You will begin taking small, consistent actions toward your goals. You will stop over-explaining. your plans. You will move quietly and confidently. That quiet confidence will speak louder than any announcement ever could. People will notice the difference, not because you changed loudly, but because you changed deeply. The time you feared you wasted now becomes fuel. It becomes perspective. It becomes wisdom. Every delay taught you patience. Every mistake taught you discernment. Every pause taught you reflection. Now reflection turns into direction. Direction turns into movement. And movement turns into momentum. Momentum is what you have been missing, and it begins with one decisive step. Beloved, do not return to hesitation after this moment. Do not shrink back into doubt once clarity has touched you. When you feel that inner push to act, honor it. When you sense alignment forming, trust it. When you recognize your growth, accept it without minimizing it. You are no longer the person waiting for permission. You are the person ready to move. This is not the end of a message. It is the beginning of your participation. The waiting has served its purpose. The preparation is complete. Now your life requires engagement. Step forward with calm certainty. Step forward with grounded confidence. Step forward knowing that nothing about your journey was wasted, it was shaping you. If this entire message has spoken clearly to your heart, respond intentionally. Type "I am done waiting" in the comments as a declaration of action. Like this video to affirm your readiness to move forward. Share it with someone who needs to reclaim their confidence. And subscribe to continue receiving guidance that strengthens your clarity, purpose, and steady growth.